Hi everybody. We just wanted to say thank you so much for contributing to our camper fund at our wedding. We've worked hard this last year to put it all together and get the camper sheltered and build it out, and we couldn't have done it without you, so thank you so much. We're really excited about it. I'm going to do a really nerdy walkthrough, so if you just wanted to thank you, you can shut off this video now, but if you want to hear all the details, keep watching. So this is our camper. It's an F-250, 1996 F-250. We put a flatbed on it, aluminum flatbed, and it has underbody boxes for storage on the flatbed, chairs and table. And Amelia, come in here. We've got propane, and if you look in here, we have all the workings for the heater and the stove and the regulator, and all that is stored down here. And then I gotta get keys. So that's the propane. And up here, we have our shower. So the heater is under here, and this is a shower unit. And the shower unit actually comes off out of here and mounts to this bracket right here. So we have a shower unit mounted here, and then in this hatch we have propane, quick disconnect, and a 12-volt plug and an AC plug for inside. And we can hook the shower unit up right here. We can plug the propane in. We can plug the electric pump in and have water down here. And then we're going to have a little curtain come out right here. So this is going to be our outdoor shower right here. Haven't got that quite dialed, but really excited about that once it gets super hot. Okay, the next thing we did is, since it's a flatbed, we don't go in normally like you go in the back. We have a side door. So in order to get a step up to the side door, we needed a step, and since the wheel's there, that's problematic. So what I did was I built this step, and there's a pin back there and an aluminum slide right here. So you just loosen the slide and you pop the pin. The chair slides over like that and then comes down. And then you can tighten it up like that. So then your step's there. So, you gotta unlock it first. So then the door pops open, and you can see that it's just about 47 inches tall right here. So we need to pop it up, and we can come in now. And in here, there's a thing on the back here. You just pop it, and then you push up, and then this rises the whole back, like so. And then for the front, we actually have a thing mounted. Because we have solar panels on the roof and they're really heavy, we have to have this to raise the front. And actually you can do it with two people without this, but I'm going to show you how to do it with one person because Amelia needs to be able to do it, so that's the whole reason. So this just rises the front up, and the reason the solar panels up there are fairly heavy, so that's why we need this. But once it's up, then you can just push it the last little bit, and there's a lock up here as well. So then your thing is up. And then close this puppy down. This also works with a drill much faster, but Amelia thought that the drill was going to be too crazy. So we're doing the hand crank. So you have to watch me with the hand crank. The next step is these cords, which pull the vinyl in when you close it. So these are just tensioner cords that you pull off. And then from here, you have 4 windows. So this is an insulation pack, so there's insulation on these. You pop that up, pull this down, pull the vinyl down, and it rolls up like that. And there's one over here. And that goes up like that. And this comes down and rolls like that. And then there's 2 more. You can stop it. So once you get the 4 windows done, it's actually really light and airy in here, and I can stand up. So what we have is over the cab now, we have a queen size bed that you just hop up on. And usually we just throw our bedding up here. Once we pop the top up, you just throw the bedding up there. That, and then you can push this back. And there's 2 extra cushions here. And one cushion goes down here and fits right there. And then the other cushion pops up there. And then this this part of it slides back to reveal the whole counter right here. So when we bought the shell, which is what you guys helped us buy, the shell was the bed, the roof, the vinyl, but this was all an empty box. So we've built all the things inside here. The first thing we built was the batteries and electronics. So here is our electronics. We have, if you look in here, Amelia, we have an inverter, a solar charge controller, a radio, and all the distribution panels for all the various electronics. So, and then out here we have 12-volt plug, inverter, stereo, water pump, floodlights outside. USB drawer is a USB plug, so we can put GPS units and phones and headlamps and stuff in here to charge them. Radio here, there's USB sockets there. There's a battery monitor here, mains, and then this is a carbon monoxide and LP detector for safety. And then in here, back here we have 2 105 AGM deep cycle batteries. So we have 210 amp hours of battery. That's all being charged from the 200 watts of solar panels on the roof and fed in here. So that's our electronics. And then I think we'll go over here for a second. So after I built the electronic bin, the next thing we did was build our dinette. So this is our rear, called the rear dinette. And it has 2 drawers. So these are big drawers. All the drawers are built with 1/2-inch birch plywood, 1/4-inch bottoms, and slam latches like this, so that when you close them, they're just closed, and you can just drive away. They don't have to do anything special, and they all move really nice on full extension slides. And then this one down here is actually our dinner tonight, but is typically going to be shoes. You can store like 9 or 10 pairs of shoes down here. And then here is for fishing poles and yoga mats and trekking poles, long storage that goes in there. And then there's a little bin up here, just an open bin for sunscreens and hats and things like that you need really quick. And then This is the seat. We haven't built cushions yet, but the next step is to build cushions for this, but it's actually pretty comfortable without cushions. Then there's one over here, the other side dinette. If you can go over there. There's a big deep drawer here. So we put day packs and dog food and bigger stuff in here. And then these panels actually pop off. They have magnets and buttons to secure them. And these back panels actually come off like this, so eventually they'll have a pad stuck to them. And this reveals another storage compartment back here that's pretty big. So stuff we don't use too often can be put down in that storage unit there. But typically that'll be stored like that. And the reason these come off is that we want to have a stealth camping setup. So if we're just at a rest area and we want to camp, we have the top down so we can't get up on the bed. What we're going to have is the ability for this table, which is on a pivot, a European boat mount, which allows the table to pivot wherever we want it and stop it. It goes up and down any way you want. And it can also come off completely. And the plan is this is going to be secured in here by little feet. And then these come off. So this is a full-size bed. And then another person can sleep here. So we have two beds that we can sleep on and camp whenever we just need to crash and get some hours of sleep without actually popping the whole camper up. So that's the dinette. We can both sit here pretty comfortably. And there's actually quite a bit of room, so one person can sit in the dinette. And we were doing yoga. We had one person doing yoga while the other person was sitting here. You could type or do whatever you need to do. The next thing we built was the dresser. So there's a little bin up here, and that's just open for magazines and shirts and wet things, or whatever we have that just doesn't fit anywhere. And when the whole camper collapses, it kind of creates a cover to keep everything in there. So that's a really nice little spot up here. And then we have 8 drawers, which are nothing special, but they're just 12-inch deep drawers. They're all built with 1/2-inch ply, 1/4-inch fronts in the same latching system, like that. Some of them are pretty deep. We store all of our clothes and dirty clothes, and usually we end up having overflow food, and we'll use one of these for food. So that's that side. The next side is the kitchen. So from the power here, we have this big guy down here, and what this is a 12-volt fridge freezer, Dometic, on a slide here, and the slide comes out far enough that this whole top can open, and we can turn this on. And if you look down in here, we have 3 compartments. We have a real freezer. This side is actually a real freezer and keeps ice cream frozen. And then we have the fridge, and then this is just a little bit warmer here, so you have all these different levels. And it works great. I put extra insulation around it to give it a little more power for cooling and keeping cool. And it's all 12 volt, there's no propane. So that's really nice. And it just all comes out. And then a big slam latch on the front because it's got so much weight and it's coming back when you're driving up a hill. So I put a big slam latch on that. And then these holes are for the compressor to be able to vent. So the compressor can vent out right there. The next thing is just a big drawer here. This is our food drawer. We typically put most of our food in here. There's a speaker, 2 speakers here hooked up to the stereo, so we can play Bluetooth through the iPhone or listen to the radio. There's a 110 outlet that's hooked to the inverter. You can hook that up and we can run a coffee grinder or charge a laptop or whatever. And then just a bulb thermometer right here. So that just runs off of ambient temperature pressure thing. So it's 82 degrees in Missoula, Montana this evening. It's heating up quick. This drawer here is a little special drawer I built to store long things like utensils and things here, and then a little whiskey and stuff like that, hot sauce. And then the reason it's so funky is because all the plumbing and the pump for the sink is up there, so it needed to kind of work around that, but I didn't want to waste that space. So there's a kind of a specialized drawer for that. And then here we have a pump. There's a 12-volt pump mounted behind the sink here, and a faucet that rotates and goes down because the bed needs to come over right here. So we had to have a faucet that goes down. And then just a little sink. And then the last piece of this, here's our fake granite countertop. And the last piece of this is our water. So in here we have 15 gallons of fresh and then a 5-gallon gray. And they're all the same size, so they can be flipped in and out. But up here, we have a keeper. When they're full, they're kind of heavy, so we don't want to rely on the door, so we have straps to keep them in. And these are just 5-gallon containers, so we can run 10 gallons of fresh, and that's just 10 gallons of fresh storage water up here. And then down here, we have a gray water drain, so the sink drains down to this gray water, and then behind it is another one of these with a tube coming into it, and that's our fresh water hooked up to the pump. So when you turn the pump on, you just pump out of there into the sink. It's super nice, and then when that 5 gallons runs out, you just flip it out with the gray water here. You drain your gray water, grab one of these, replace it down there, and then you've got another 5 gallons off the sink. I don't have any water in here right now, but you can turn on the pump, and you can hear the pump trying to pump. So it works great when there's water in there, of course. So that was one of the big pieces we put in. And the last piece was the propane and cook stove cabinet. And it was a kind of a tricky one because it had all the propane on the outside and the storage cabinet for the shower. And then there's the coffee drawer here. This is room for our coffee, pour over thing, coffee mugs, the electric coffee grinder all fits in here with our mugs. So that's our coffee drawer, important for all the Hagen Dillons out there. Gotta have that. This is the snack drawer, so this is just gonna be all of our bars and chocolates and all that kind of stuff. And then this is the trash drawer. I built it with a very, very fine tolerance slide with neoprene right there. And actually it does a really good job of keeping the trash smell in there. So it works surprisingly well for so far. And then here is the vents for the heater. There is a 12-volt fan furnace with a propane hookup. The thermostat's over here, and all the combustion products from the heater are all outside. So it's all that bad stuff, and the CO is outside, and the dry, warm air just comes out of there. And the thermostat's over here so that the air comes up and warms the place, and this kicks on and off, so you can just set your temperature right here for the furnace. And we use it in the winter. It works pretty well. This is just a drawer with pots and pans and cups and cooking stuff. Here is another one that's just cooking stuff or food. We had enough room that we were just putting chips in there at one point on our last trip to Utah. There is a stove up on top, and it's hooked up to the propane, and it's on what's called a quick disconnect. So you can just pop it off like that and pop it back on. And the reason for that is that we have the same quick disconnect on the outside, so if it's nice outside, we don't have to carry 2 stoves. We can just pop this stove out, put it on the table outside, and cook outside, which is going to be super nice. And this strap just keeps it secured while we're driving right here. And there's a 12-volt Fantastic fan, dual-way fan. So you can turn this on, and it sucks, so you can cook here. You can cook on the, saute veggies or whatever. And this is pretty powerful, so it just sucks the cooking stuff right out of the fan. And it also blows down too, so you can use it to stay cool as well. And then there's one more thing here. Amelia did the floor. Amelia stenciled the floor, which is beautiful. I really like it. And the bed is super comfy. Piper can be up there as well with plenty of room. And then the last thing we have here is a cassette toilet. This is, oh, it's got a strap so it doesn't come out. So here's just a little cassette toilet. You just pop it. There's a little black water tank, so the bad stuff goes there, and this is actually water up here. So it flushes like that. And you just pop the thing down, turn the fan on while you're doing your business. And we've been really happy. It's actually super nice because you can just pop this bottom off and stop at a pit toilet on the way home and just put it in the pit toilet, and it cleaned out really well with the chemicals that you put in there. So that's pretty nice to have when you really need it. And if we don't need it, we can just leave it at home, and this can be boot storage or whatever else we need in here. So yeah, that's the inside. If we come outside, we have a porch light, we have the floodlights. Back here we have steps. Paper dog! We have steps so you can climb up here. And there's racks. You can even put a Yakima rack up there. Put stuff on there. We have a camera here and a camera here. Because we don't have any view, we have cameras off the back. So you can see the bikes or the boats that you got hooked up. This is for extra gas can. There's another underbody box here. 2 fuel tanks. So 2 diesel fuel tanks. And that's that. Thanks for watching.